fourth graders, to the Minna Anthony Common Nature Center's virtual field trip. You're going to learn so much today and have a lot of fun. Here are your guides.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Lauren.
Join us to learn about the outdoors. Let's get started. Hi everybody, today we're going to have a whole lesson on scat. Scat is another word for poop. Yes, we're going to talk about poop and you're not going to get in trouble. But instead of saying poop, we're going to say what word? Scat. So before we start talking about animal scat, we have a song to teach you. This is called the Scat Rap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a verse and you're going to repeat it with Miss Lauren. So first we're going to start the beat. So everybody get your hands ready. But let's be scientific.
Let's be scientific.
And call it scat.
And call it scat.
Awesome, everybody. So Miss Lauren's going to grab the first scat for us. Take a look at that. Take a look at the shape. It's elongated pellets. This animal eats both meat and plants. So what does that mean when it eats meat and plants? Yes, it is an omnivore. Now don't worry, I know some of you are already freaking out because I've got scat in my hand. This is rubber. These are what's called replicas. If you actually had a real scat out in the woods and you took a nice firm stick and you actually moved it apart, you could see what the animal was eating. So if an animal is an omnivore, eats both plants and animals, the animals you would be able to find fur and bones, things your stomach couldn't actually digest. Then for plants, it would be shells, like from seeds, and plant fibers. Things that your stomach couldn't digest. Now some of you might be thinking, what on earth is she talking about? Most of you have probably eaten corn or corn on the cob. I've done it. You have a nice big meal, nice barbecue on the grill, have a corn on the cob, you eat it, and you go to the bathroom the next day, and what do you find in your scat? Shells from the corn. You know exactly what you ate. Well, that's the same thing for animal scat. So that's what we would be looking at. This helps naturalists figure out what animals have been around and what these animals are eating. So it tells us a lot of things without actually seeing the animal. So I'm going to give you some clues. Let's see if you can guess which animal produced this scat. So this is a nocturnal animal. It has an opposable thumb. An opposable thumb is when you can move your thumb like this. Can you try that? So this animal also has a mask around its eyes. It's to let the light come in. Because it is nocturnal, that means an animal that actually is out at night and sleeps at day allows the moonlight to filter in with this mask. Anybody know what it is? That's right, it's a raccoon. Good job. We'll get another scat. Thank you, Miss Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
So this one reminds me of the look of Cocoa Puffs. Don't eat these Cocoa Puffs. This is a herbivore. All herbivores, plant eaters, have rounded pellets. Depending on what they actually eat, depends on the size of the pellets, but it is all rounded. So this animal is a hoofed animal. It has antlers in the fall and they drop each season. Its fur is brown, so it can camouflage in the woods. And it loves acorns. Anybody know what it is? That's right, it's a deer. Lastly, our carnivore. Yes, the meat eater. These are very long-shaped scat. And if you went and looked at it, it would be covered in fur and bone pieces. So this animal is an animal that can be at dawn and dusk, but also can see in the night. It is an animal that eats all sorts of different animals. Most of the time stays by himself, but in the winter will form packs. It makes this sound, ow! And it's not a wolf. That's right, it's a coyote. Hi everybody, today we're going to be learning about mammal skulls. Miss Lauren, can you give me the first one? Take a look at the shape of this skull. Isn't it really neat? When you take a look at these sharp, jagged teeth. Now, if you were an animal that had sharp, jagged teeth, what would you eat? That's right, animals. They need their teeth as their feeding tool. They're not like us. They don't have a fork or a knife. They can't cut up their meat nice and neat and then chew it up. They depend on their teeth to be able to hunt their prey and then be able to eat large chunks. So their teeth are made for tearing. Now, if you take a look at these big, long teeth on the top and the bottom, those are called canines. This animal is from the canine family, which also means dog family. So just think about your dog that you might have at home. They would have the same teeth, just like this critter. Now this canine is a lot smaller than a coyote. It has two different types of furs. One is red and one is gray. They hunt all sorts of small mammals like chipmunks and squirrels, but they also can eat snakes. Anybody know what it is? Fox. There's a red fox and a gray fox. Miss Lauren has another skull for us. So we already talked about this animal once. This animal was an omnivore. An omnivore means their teeth are different. So you can see he's got the long, jagged teeth right there, but he also has these back molars, just like our teeth. Now, make sure you wash your hands, but when you have a chance, you can take your finger and rub the back of your molars. They're flat. Those are called grinding teeth. So this has sharp teeth for tearing meat and then grinding teeth for the plants. Now, this animal has big eye sockets because it's nocturnal. Anybody can think what it is? We already talked about it once. Yes, it is. I'll give you one more clue though. It has that mask around its eyes to let in the light. It is a raccoon. Okay, Miss Lauren. Now, this animal is known as a rodent. All rodents have these incisors in the front, and they actually have another set like this on the bottom. They are called forever growing teeth. That's because the teeth keep growing. They have to constantly chew and nibble. You can actually try that at home. So, I'm going to show you. Put your hands like this, and put your fingers like this, and that's how a rodent chews. Then, this rodent, all rodents have grinding teeth because they are herbivores. They eat plants. So they have the teeth to chop and the teeth to grind. This animal you've already seen once. We practiced it as walking like it. It is a waddler. It has 30,000 quills on its back. That's right, it is a porcupine. Okay, Miss Lauren? And lastly, this one's neat. This one is called an insectivore. Does anybody know what that means? It's a very tricky word. Think a minute. Deals with insects. That's right. There are animals that will only eat insects. So this guy has teeth that are made for crunching an exoskeleton. An exoskeleton means the bones on the outside and not the inside. So everybody take your arm, bring it out, take your other arm, and tap your arm. And can you feel those bones on the inside of your arm? Just imagine if you took those bones and put them on the outside of your arm and all your muscles are on the inside of that skeleton. That is an exoskeleton. So this insectivore is also nocturnal. And he is the only North American marsupial. Does anybody know what marsupial means? It's a very tricky word. Think a minute. A marsupial, I often think of like a kangaroo or a koala. It's not about jumping, and it's not about climbing trees. It has to do with its babies. So, a marsupial has a front pouch. And when it gives birth, the baby is very, very teeny. And it comes and it's placed into the pouch, and that's where it lives. So, do koalas and kangaroos live here? No, they don't. So think a minute of an insectivore that's nocturnal that you could possibly find in your own backyard. I'll give you another hint. This insectivore, in the back of his brain, holds a chemical. And when he gets frightened, that chemical gets released into its body. And it makes him have the appearance of playing dead. His legs actually stiffen. His breath becomes shallow. You have to look very, very carefully. And his heartbeat is very, very, very slow. Just enough to keep the blood pumping in its body. Why don't you try that? At the count of 3, we'll all play dead together. 1, 2, wait. I gotta get it on the floor. Are you down on the floor? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4, 3. Everybody stiff? Yep, me too. Okay, everybody relax. Everybody can get back up. All right, everybody know what the animal is? It's a possum. Good job, everybody. We learned some really neat things about animal scat and animals' teeth. And today I have a really fun activity to do that goes along with the animal's teeth. We're going to make 3 little paper skulls, and we're going to draw their teeth. So, everybody take a look at what I'm going to do. There is actual step-by-step instructions for you in your activity packet, but I'm going to show you how to do this. You're going to take a long rectangle sheet of paper. It can be computer paper, or it can be construction paper, whatever kind, just as long as it's a rectangle. You're going to fold it in half. Then you're going to take the flap side and fold it so the edge hits the center fold. Then you're going to fold it and fold to the center fold. So have your paper stand like this. Then you're going to take your corners, each of the 4 corners, and fold it to make a triangle. Thank you, Gavin. Thanks. So you're going to fold the corner, fold the other corner. Make sure that edge is nice and straight with that center fold. Take your time at this. Then you should have something that looks kind of silly like that. Take your fold down this corner and fold it so you make a tent. Make a tent. You're going to fold it all the way up. And now you've got a funny looking boat. We're not done yet. What you're going to do is fold your paper in half. You can take a pair of scissors if you like, or I just take my fingers and rip a little slit. Place it back down on your table. Open it up. Fold down. Open it up. Fold down. And then you're going to do the other side. Now this is the tricky part. You're going to take your thumbs in your boat and you're going to open it up and squish it down so it looks like a Pac-Man. So, now that everybody knows how to make our mouths, I'm going to show you what I did. So on this green paper, I made a herbivore. So I drew flat, square teeth and flat, square, long teeth in the front. This is supposed to be our beaver. So I put some eyes on the sides and some ears. I also made a carnivore in red. Remember, carnivore is our meat eater, so they have jagged teeth. So all I did is made jags on all the sides. And since this is supposed to be a carnivore, like a coyote or a fox, I put the eyes right in the front, not on the side, because predators always have their eyes in the front. And I made some nice pointy ears. And lastly, our omnivore. Our omnivore was a raccoon. So, omnivores have both teeth. I have some flat, square teeth like a herbivore, and then I made some jagged teeth for our carnivore. And then I made him cute. See those big eyes? That's supposed to be his mask. And I made a little funny nose and ears. I hope you have a good time with this. Have fun.